If you're considering Group of 8 universities in Australia, UNSW Sydney should be on top of your list. It consistently ranks amongst top 5 in Australia and 19th in the world by QS World University Rankings. It is also rated top 50 globally in many subject areas. Also, here's a fun fact. UNSW has produced more millionaires than any other Australian university. Hi, my name is Saket, and if you want to study at this top university in Australia, stick until the end as we're also joined by Jainum Doshi, a master's student at UNSW Sydney, to help you with your application. Also, I'm dropping the link to Jainum's winning SOP in the pinned comments and the description box that helped him secure his place. You can use this SOP as an inspiration to draft yours for UNSW Sydney or any other Australian university you are targeting. Let's start and get to know Jainum a bit.
I did my bachelor's in business administration back in India from NMIMS, and I majored in marketing. And I have completed my master's in international business from UNSW. Back in India, I had a year's experience in marketing and sales, and I was pretty much a fresher when I came here.
Question 1. What programs can I study? So UNSW Sydney has 6 faculties which include Art, Design and Architecture, Business, Engineering, Law and Justice, Medicine and Health, and Sciences that offer a range of UG, PG and PhD programs. UG degrees are usually 3 to 4 years in duration and PG are usually 1 to 2 years. Jainum tells us why he particularly chose UNSW. Let's hear from him.
Yeah, so I was looking at a few countries, but I narrowed it down to Australia. And then I had a few offers from a few universities like University of Melbourne and University of Queensland and also UNSW. But I considered UNSW as because it's Sydney, firstly, a major city. I thought after speaking to a lot of people, and again, I was doing my own research, and I found out that bigger cities have more opportunities. So that's why I just picked UNSW. And
Question 2. What are the entry requirements and the documentation? So for UG, good scores in 12th grade are accepted, usually in the high 80s. Some courses may also require 80% plus in math or science as compulsory subjects, so do check that beforehand. And for PG, I would recommend 60 to 65% plus in your bachelor's degree in a relevant subject. Talking about English language requirements, UNSW accepts IELTS, TOEFL and PTE. For both UG and PG, 6.5 with 6 in each in IELTS, 90 overall with 23 in writing and 22 in reading, listening and speaking in TOEFL, and 64 overall with minimum 54 in each in PTE is required. Do note that some courses may require a higher score, so do check that beforehand. In terms of documentation, mark sheets, SOPs, LORs, and portfolio may be required for creative courses. Jainum tells us more about his application. Let's hear what he has to say.
so for the documentation, I needed my mark sheets from class 10th and 12th. And I also needed, personally, I needed the transcripts for my undergrad as I was pursuing my master's. Also, I needed a statement of purpose, an SOP for my application. And if you're also applying for any scholarships, you need an additional SOP on why you deserve a scholarship. So at the top of my head, that is the only thing you need for the application process.
Question number 3. What does the overall process and timelines look like? So for both UG and PG students, apply by October for February intake and by February for July intake to ensure you have ample time to apply for your visa. The process to apply is also pretty simple. You can go to UNSW website and apply directly by filling up the application form and uploading required documents. An application fee of 150 Australian dollars also applies. Don't forget to download Jainum's winning SOP for UNSW Sydney from the description and the pinned comments. I'm sure it will be of great help. Also, let's hear from him more on his application timelines and experience.
So I'm someone who likes to plan everything in advance, like pretty much before everything, before the deadline, I want to be sorted. So for a Feb intake, I applied around sometime in May, and I got the conditional offer letter in a month. And then the only condition was that I had to give my IELTS exam, which I gave it in the next month and submitted it, and got a full offer letter by October for a Feb intake. So, and the application processes includes all the documentations that need to be uploaded. And paying a deposit, the first deposit for your tuition fee.
Question 4. What are the tuition fee, living costs, and if there are any scholarships? So the tuition fee at UNSW will range anywhere between 35,000 Australian dollars to 50,000 Australian dollars per annum, which is roughly 19 to 27 lakh rupees. Some courses such as medicine or MBA will cost more. As per living, expect to set aside 30,000 Australian dollars per annum or 16 lakh rupees to cover your accommodation, grocery, and other expenses. Part-time jobs are available and cover a majority of your living expenses. Let's hear from Jainum more on fee, living, and part-time jobs.
Back in 2022, when I had enrolled myself, was $100,000, which roughly comes to around 54 to 56 lakh rupees. This is just the tuition fee, just to study, and then the cost of living, especially in Sydney at the moment, is pretty high. It's difficult to find a decent house around your university, or else you might have to live a bit far from the university and spend like a couple of hours traveling every now and then whenever you have classes. So at the moment, there's a housing crisis in Sydney. Everything is super inflated. So that is one thing that even I'm struggling with right now after living here for 2.5 years now. There's a weekly rent system over here where the rents can range from $250 to $450 Australian dollars per week, which comes around 25 to 35,000 INR per week if you convert it. 20 to 25,000, I would say, to find a decent house where you would like to stay for a year, because you will be coming here and you might also work part-time to pay your bills. So initially it does get difficult, and then you will spend around $150 to $200 a fortnight on your groceries, and you will spend around $20 to $30 dollars on travel per week, at least. So it just comes down to $500 to $600 a week that you $500 a week you could see yourself spending, including everything. Once you start a part-time job over here, you won't be able to pay your tuition fee because it's too high and you're not earning that much to pay your tuition fee. But as a student, you will have a working capacity, like a cap. You cannot work more than 24 hours a week. So, for example, if you're just working 20 to 22 hours, you might just be able to pay your rent, save a little, and then spend on your groceries. So, yeah, you can, I've done it for 2.5 years. I worked at a supermarket, and I was able to pay my rent and groceries, was able to save a little bit, take a couple of trips as well outside of Sydney. So, yeah.
So that was for today's video. Let me know which other university you'd like me to cover in the next one. And before you leave, don't forget to download Jainum's SOP from the pinned comments and description. Thank you for watching, and let us catch up in the next one.